So, hello everyone. Oh, my pillows are in the way. Shit. Don't want my couch pillows in the way. But my name is Shantae, aka Shanteezy on Twitter and Instagram, or just simply just Shantae. So, I have my after show here called Shantae's Analysis. If you want to catch the whole entire analysis, you can just either follow me on Instagram or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is simply just Shantae Berry. So, move my camera up a little bit. So I'm just here with some numbers of COVID-19 for you guys. COVID is a serious thing that's still ravaging our country, unfortunately. In the ninth month of the year, which is almost damn near 6 months since we've been dealing with coronavirus, declared as a national emergency, but really been dealing with this for like 8 months so far. So globally, within 188 countries, including the United States of America, we are at 25,650,801 cases of COVID-19, with our global death toll standing at 854,596. So here at home, we account for a fourth of those cases. Yeah, about a fourth, close to a fifth of those cases. At 6,072,871 cases of COVID-19, with our global death toll at 184,629. So that's the national numbers. But here at home in the States, according to the New York Times COVID map, California is still leading the pack with 716,298, followed by Texas at 645,275. Florida is at 631,034. New York is at 440,237. Georgia is at 256,244. Illinois is at 239,115. And Arizona is at 202,375. New Jersey is at 194,070. North Carolina is at 169,939. And Tennessee rounds up that top 10 with 153,274. There's other cases with states with rising cases, such as Virginia at 121,615 and South Carolina at 119,846. And of course, like I said, we have no national strategy to combat COVID-19 as the months progress towards Election Day. Keep in mind, Donald Trump is still the incumbent in our White House, which is the people's house, and he's refused to even acknowledge the fact that COVID is still around. He's still acting like COVID is gone, like they declared victory and declared a win. You did not have a victory lap, sir. Just didn't. And that's my take on this. So that's that with coronavirus. And there's still no relief. And according to, I didn't watch the hearing today, but the coronavirus committee in the House had a hearing today with Steve Mnuchin. Of course, he probably bullshitted his way through that hearing because, of course, that's what this administration does. They take it from their leader, who is a well-known bullshit-ass artist. So I'm not responding to the bots. I'm not doing that. I'm not giving you airtime because I'm just not doing it today. But I will still keep doing what I'm doing. So, speaking of Donald Trump today, he went to visit Kenosha. And he met with law enforcement. He didn't meet with the Blake family, of course. Jacob Blake was shot 7 times. 7 times. And let's just say the man is paralyzed from the waist down. He did not deserve to get shot that way. Nobody should not get shot the way that he got shot. The police have overused, and been doing it for a long time. I live in New York City. They've been using and abusing their power on black and brown people. Especially these white cops. I wish they would all get their justice. Get their due day. Because everything that's going on with racial injustice, more and more stuff keeps coming out about these cops that has been a rallying cry for African Americans for so long, and the Latinx community, for so long. But he did not see the Blake family. We're not shocked. I'm not shocked. Any other person's not shocked. When his uncle was asked, he basically was like, he does not want to see the orange man. I would not want to see him either. I mean, in true national form, who wants to see that man? I mean, clearly, he's just a straight up fool. I mean, nobody should not want to see a crazy SOB from New York. And I can say this because I am a native born New Yorker. Thank you for saying you like my smile. I try to keep clean white teeth, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, he's always been a rat bastard from the beginning of time. So I am definitely not shocked that, he's an a-hole. And he's always going to be an a-hole for life. No, not really. I'm an African American. I was raised in New York. Donald Trump did a lot of shady shit. And not just the black Americans. He did a lot of shady shit to the Italian mob. Let's be real. I'm a New Yorker. I know this from experience. I grew up 20 minutes away from his office, driving-wise. So I never saw that man in my neighborhood. Trump's elitism is tied to his racism because Donald Trump does not care about anybody but himself. He never did. From the beginning to the end. So that's that. But enough on the New York congrifter. I would like to talk about the Biden and Harris interview that I watched. It was a good social distance interview. It was transparent. They basically talk about issues that are going on with the COVID-19 crisis, with the voting rights crisis, how we need to make Election Day a national holiday. That plan came from Kamala Harris. It's not Trump's. Trump did not really do a lot. Most of it, he took credit from other people. When you're in the executive branch, it's that much you can do. That's why it's 3 branches of government. So anyway, I watched the interview. It was really good. Election Day should be a national holiday. Everybody should have the day off to vote. Period. Voting is our right. It's our constitutional right to get rid of leaders that are trying to ruin democracy. And not just Trump being in office. It's just in general. Election Day should be a national holiday regardless. It should. It really should. Because everybody should have the right and the means to vote. And we should vote with our lives depend on it. Seriously. It should. It really should. Because everybody should have the right and the means to vote. And as I said, we should. And they also address, I've written it down too. They also addressed Trump's mishandling of coronavirus. I mean, look, over 6 million cases, nearly 185,000 people dead. There's no rent relief. People getting evicted left to right. In addition to that, what else? Food insecurity. If you go to the store, right? I go to the store every Friday. I pick up little things here and there just to keep my house stocked up, just in case, because the second wave is coming. And let's see. We need to have a stocked up house. You need to have a stocked up house. So I'm saying this because agriculture is pretty much shitty too. It's really bad. And a lot of people like to cook fresh food. I'm one of them. Fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, fresh meat, all that. So when the produce is bad, food insecurity is an issue. So that's that. So they address the whole handling of COVID and how Donald Trump is trying to strike down the ACA, the only health care that the country has. And also just a whole host of other things. But it was a great conversation. I suggest that you watch it. He also addressed the free tuition for families that make under $25,000 and less for their children to go to college, a public college for 4 years. Also, the invest money in HBCUs. Somebody said, and I blocked their ass, that Trump permanently funded HBCUs. That was actually Kamala Harris's plan, and he actually did not permanently fund it. He actually tried to take more funding away from him, and the only reason why it's funded because of Kamala Harris's bill. You can read it. You go to Senate.gov. Do your research. But yeah. Sure did. Mm-hmm. And they will invest, I said $70 billion to HBCUs. I did say that. Yep. So you can watch the conversation yourself. You go to Joe Biden's webpage or his Twitter page and just look at the video. In the meantime, I have on my list Brianna Gray. So it came up on my recommended videos to watch. I think I subscribed to their channel. I keep forgetting I do that. And pretty much I took some notes on this interview because I feel like, you got to hear stupid people at some point of time, right? So Brianna Gray, if you guys don't know, she is the former press secretary to Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign. She rightfully so defending him, doing her job, doing what she does, but she was also toxic at the same time, and toxic on Twitter. Like, I'm surprised that her account hasn't been temporarily suspended. Like Candace Owens had that treatment too. So in her interview, she talks about Republicans ratcheting up things while Democrats allow them to do that, which we all know that's really not true. You can see in these hearings. And she said this: we have lost the semblance of a new left party that is genuinely looking out for the interests of poor working class people. Everybody's not poor working class. In particular, labor. Why is that? Claims that Bernie's supporters are not rooting for Biden, not rooting for Biden to lose, but they want him to be the candidate that let me just put this out here. To be the candidate that address the issues and Democrats and Republicans, they are in lockstep together, which that's a lie. If you watch the hearings in any committee, in the House and even in the Senate, they're definitely not on lockstep with one another. Donald Trump along with the Republicans, they're lockstep together because they are trying to win election to remain that knucklehead, to have that knucklehead remain in power. In the meantime, you have the Democrats trying to restore order. Keep in mind, the Republicans were the party of not just only law and order, but of globalism, family values, and being institutionalist, right? That's what they campaign on. That's their principles. Obviously, they're not following their principles. And they haven't been following it for quite some time, in my opinion. Honestly, it's been trickling, honestly, since the Reagan years. But it got worse as President Obama was in office and when the Tea Party came up. That's the far right. That's the far extremists. So you have that right then and there. So these Republicans are in lockstep with Donald Trump while the Democrats are trying to find and restore order. No matter what side of the ideological spectrum the Democrats on, what they have in common together is that they want to save the democracy. That's what they want to do. Can't blame them for that. So I don't know what homegirl's talking about in this interview. So that was a dumb comment. And then when she was asked about Kamala Harris, if the progressive base is excited for Kamala Harris, she said this: I can't speak for all progressives, but my impression is no. I think people who already were going to vote for Biden like Kamala Harris. You all know that's not true, but I'll deconstruct that in a minute. If you're a Democrat, historically, you rely on labor as the base of your support, but you have abandoned that constituency more than less than the last 30 years. What do you have to distinguish yourself from Republicans? If not, the kind of candidate that we believe have empirical evidence to back up to be more electable and more an ethical, humane president. So let's just state some facts. Number one, Biden supporters were not all gung-ho for Kamala Harris. They were still hell-bent on what she did in 2019 in the first Democratic primary presidential debate, when she went after him on busing, his position on busing, which was true. She didn't call him a racist. None whatsoever. People need to do their research and actually watch and not just look for a viral moment. Watch the exchange. Understand the exchange. So that's number one. Number two, they did not want her to be the vice president. They wanted her to be the AG. As a Kamala Harris supporter, I didn't want her to be the AG. I wanted her to actually be the president nominee, the nominee for the Democratic ticket. But obviously, that did not work in her favor due to smears, lies, and yada, yada, yada. So that's that. In addition to Rihanna's comments, the poor working class, if that's what you consider the Democratic base of the party, you are so woefully ignorant. But then again, Brianna Joy Gray is a privileged young black woman. She's around my age. She's a year older than me. She's 35. I'm 34 years old. She was raised in the suburbs of North Carolina. She went to Harvard in Massachusetts, which is about a 40-minute drive from where I went to school at in Chestnut Hill. She went there for undergrad and grad. She currently lives in the city. Don't know if she lives downtown or live in Brooklyn, but from what that area was, it looked like it was like lower Manhattan. What else? I'm not sure she utilized her law degree. Don't know. But she worked for places like The Intercept, which is Republican funded. She has a net worth. I think if I look up her net worth, I think it's in the millions. I'm not quite sure, but let me just look this up just in case, because you got to get your facts straight, got to get the facts right on people before you start making shit up. So let's see what her net worth. So according to this website, it's trendcelebsnow.com. Brianna Gray's Network, she just recently had a birthday. Exit this thing. This ad is in the way. Her net worth is between $100,000 and $1 million. So, and that's of 2020. Actually, 2020 is between $1 million and $5 million. So this is a woman, once again, who comes from a place of privilege, who pretty much does not relate to the average African American woman. Now, we all know that Black people are not a monolith. I understand. I get it. Totally get it. However, if we're going to talk about transparency and also talk about Black people and a Democratic base, it's not just poor people. There's Black people that are middle class workers. My parents are in the middle class. Their median income in my household was between $50,000 to $60,000 per year. My mother, who made a decent salary as a payroll auditor, who is still a payroll auditor to this day, her salary is between the 50s and 60s. It has stayed stagnant like that. My dad, who didn't make as much money, but also had outside job here and there. My parents were not working class. They were considered middle class. Some of my friends were working class, but then I have friends that were also had middle class parents. So I don't know what the hell Rejoy was talking about there. The Americans that she was talking about were white people. Bernie Sanders never mentioned about immigrants at all. If he wanted to attract his Latin base, even though he had huge Latin support. But most of his policies did not help Latin communities. If anybody who had strong Latin support, Latinx support, it was Senator Kamala Harris. And she had bills from the LIFT Act, bills from Black maternal rates, home ownership, extended after school, and yada yada. And then the coronavirus relief bills, as she's still, when she went back to the Senate. So I don't understand, like I said, this whole interview with Rejoy, it was only 6 minutes. It was 6 minutes of a waste of a time and of just her opinions, that there was no facts and no truth to what she's saying. So I'm saying this as I end this tonight. Vote. You can vote for a candidate you want. It doesn't matter at this point. But if you're going to vote, do your research on your candidate, why their policies will help you. Besides saving democracy, we all want to save democracy and save America and save the American creed as well. Why are you voting for this candidate? Don't listen to people like Brianna Joy Gray, because she voted for Jill Stein in 2016. You should always remember that. Her and the other hosts of Bernie Bros. Thank you very much. So I'm not understanding why people think she's some type of queen. She's a queen of lies, a queen of toxicity. Yeah, she is. On Twitter. She's a Twitter thug. All I know is I never got into anything with her, and I don't want to. Because I might drag her ass. And the fact that she lives in the same city as me, like, bitch, I'll find you. All I gotta do is do a white page search, and I just approach your location. But I ain't gonna try to fight you because you're not worth my time. I got other things going on, starting grad school this week to finish up my degree. So, and I'll actually use my degree, not spend money on a degree and working for a presidential campaign as a press secretary. Child, please. But I'm ending this and saying, be smart. Be swift and vote. Thank you. Until then, have a great night.